Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. So today I have something really fun lined up. It's something I've been wanting to film for a while, but I was like iffy about. But if you know me, I love the Dollar Tree. They have like everything there. And yes, it's cheap, but if you need something cheap, it's great to go there. So I go to the Dollar Tree all the time, and every time I go, I always see that they have a little book section with books that are for $1. Well, actually now Dollar Tree is $1.25, but it's fine. And they're always like random books I've never heard of. My guess is that they're like overstock books that like didn't sell. Today, I'm going to be getting books from the Dollar Tree and reading them and letting you know what I think about them. I feel like it's fun to read books you've never heard about, because like I'm thinking about when I was younger, I would just go to Barnes and pick out a random book that looked cool, like just based on what was on the back of the book. Like there was no Goodreads, no Bookstagram, no one to look up to see like their reviews on it. And I kind of want to like bring back that feeling. So I thought it'd be fun to, one, go buy discounted, very discounted books at the Dollar Tree, and two, go into them blind. It's a rainy day here in Connecticut. I'm gonna go get my Starbucks and then we're gonna go head to the Dollar Tree. I have like 3 Dollar Trees in my area, but we're gonna go to the one that's closest to me first, and if there's nothing there, then we'll go to the second one and we'll see. I really am looking for like a range of genres. I'm looking to get only like 2 or 3 books. I'm gonna take clips like in the store and I'll show you the stuff I find, and then we'll come back and I'll show you my haul. Alright, update y'all. So the first Dollar Tree had nothing. Like nothing good. It was like lots of Western like books, and I didn't want to go too outside the genres I read because I was scared it was going to give me like a book slump or something. But I did end up getting one book there that seemed a little interesting. I think it's a sci-fi book. I have no idea. I didn't look it up. There was a fantasy book there that I did look up because it said it was the second book in a series, and I needed to know if it was like a continuous series or if it was like a standalone series. And it was like a continuous series, like it was the same characters from the first book. So I didn't get it because I didn't want to be confused, but it looked like good. So I went to the second Dollar Tree already and also didn't have very much. I got 2 books. So I'm gonna go to the last Dollar Tree in my area and we're gonna hope that they have something a little more in my genre that I like. If not, this is gonna be like me stepping out of my comfort zone for books. So updates to follow. I also got this lipstick. It's a Maybelline lipstick and I really want to try it because it's like this cute fall color. If I could get it out of this plastic that you've been hearing me wrinkling this whole clip, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's like metallic. Oh, it's like a beautiful berry color. I'm gonna try it. Oh my god, it's so cute. This is why I love Dollar Tree. You guys have to check it out because they have like good brands there. On to the next Dollar Tree, we'll update.
If I could tell you, I don't think you'd believe how long I've felt this way.
Okay, y'all, we're back home. It's been a few hours since I last checked in. I have an amazing haul of books from the Dollar Tree to share with y'all. So I'm just going to show you guys in the order that I got them. And mind you, I did not look up any of these books on Goodreads. I don't know the ratings for them. I know nothing about it except for what's on the back of them. So the first book I got was The Race by Nina Allen. So this one is basically like a sci-fi dystopian kind of story, which is a little out of my comfort range of books. I like dystopian stories, but this has more of like a sci-fi element to it. So I'll just read the back of these because I really don't know how to explain these books very well. So, a child is kidnapped with consequences that extend across worlds. A writer reaches into the past to discover the truth about a possible murder. Far away, a young woman prepares for her mysterious future. So we're in the future, scarred by fracking. What is fracking? I don't know. And ecological collapse. It's following like several different characters. Each chapter or like section of the book follows a different character that's talked about in the plot. So my guess is like they each have their own stories and at the end they kind of all come together for some reason. And these 2 books I got from the second Dollar Tree, and these are kind of smaller books and shorter books. So the first one is Heather, the Totality. It's kind of a pretty cover by Matthew Weiner? I'm gonna say Weiner. I love paperback books like this that have like the fold. Like, that's really cool. Mark and Karen Breakstone arrange themselves around their daughter Heather, and the world seems to follow. Beautiful, compassionate, and entrancing, she is the greatest blessing in their lives of Manhattan luxury. But as Heather grows, her radiance attracting more and more dark interest, their perfect existence starts to fracture. Meanwhile, a very different person, one raised in poverty and violence, is beginning his own malign orbit around Heather. It seems like it's centered around this family and their daughter Heather, and then another boy who comes into her life, possibly later in her life. Other book, I like grabbed it like right before I like left the little book section because it looks cool. So it is The Disasters, spelt with a Y, The Disasters, by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. So this one's a little different because it's a graphic novel. I've never really read a graphic novel before, I don't think. Eventually I do want to get into graphic novels because I think they're a fun form of like reading, and I love like looking at the art styles and stuff, so I think that'll be really fun to get into, so that's why I grabbed this. This book is about adoptive daughter of a gifted scientist. Foster Stewart doesn't live a normal life, but controlling cloud formations and seeing airwaves aren't things that most 18-year-olds can do. So it sounds like she has some really cool powers. Small town star quarterback and quintessential dreamy boy next door, Tate Nighthawk Taylor, has never thought much about his extra abilities. Sure, his night visions comes in handy during games, but who wouldn't want that extra edge? From the moment Foster and Tate collide, their worlds spiral and a deadly tornado forces them to work together, fully awakening their not-so-natural ability, the power to control air. As they each deal with the tragic loss of loved ones, they're caught by another devastating blow. They are the first in a group of teens genetically manipulated before birth to bond with the elements, and worse, they're being hunted. Oh my gosh, this actually sounds really good. I think I will enjoy looking at the art style in this and following the story of these characters. It's giving me like The Natural / Shatter Me vibe. And I hope that's what it's gonna give. And here we are at the third Dollar Tree that I stopped at that had a great selection of books. I have a whole bag of books. I got 5 there. So first we have Little Darlings by Melanie Golding. This was the only paperback book I got. The rest are hardcovers. This one seems like a mystery or thriller book. Everyone says Lauren Tranter is exhausted and that she needs rest. And they're right. With newborn twins, Morgan and Riley, she's never been more tired in her life. But she knows what she saw. That night, in her hospital room, a woman tried to take her babies and replace them with her own creatures. Yet when the police arrived, they saw no one. Everyone from her doctor to her husband thinks she's imagining things. A month passes, and one bright summer morning, the babies disappear from Lauren's side in the park. But when they're found, something is different about them. The infants look like Morgan and Riley to everyone else. But to Lauren, something is off. As everyone around her celebrates their return, Lauren begins to scream, "These are not my babies." This reminds me, I didn't read it yet, but it reminds me of Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I'm pretty sure it has a similar premise where like someone's daughter goes missing and then years later they have like a friend whose daughter resembles the daughter. The next book is Sisters of Shadow and Light by Sarah B. Larson. A timeless and fantastical tale about the bond between sisters and the powerful magic that could tear them apart. Zora and Nara have grown up in the Citadel of the Paladin, an abandoned fortress where legendary magical warriors once lived before disappearing from the world, including their paladin father on the night Nara was born. That same night, a massive enchanted hedge grew and imprisoned them within the Citadel, and Nara inherited their father's paladin power. Her eyes glow blue, and she is able to make plants grow at unbelievable rates. But she has been trapped in her own mind because of a roar that drowns everything else out. For 15 years they have lived, trapped in the Citadel, with little contact from the outside world, until the day a stranger passes through the hedge and everything changes. This one sounds really good as well. This is giving like a fantasy story, you know, they have powers. That's so fun. The next book, I'm pretty sure, is a romance. I don't really like real people on covers, but This is it. It's called Only a Breath Apart. I thought this was cute. Jesse Lachlan is cursed. So the town folklore says, but the only curse Jesse believes is his grandmother's will. In order to inherit his family farm, he must win the approval of his childhood best friend, the girl who froze out his freshman year, Scarlett Copeland. Scarlett Copeland is psychic. Glory Gardner tells Scarlett she has hidden psychic abilities, but Scarlett knows what is real is Scarlett's father's irrational fears, controlling attitude, and the dark secrets at home. Scarlett may have a way to escape, but she'll have to rely on the one person she used to trust. Every midnight meeting pushes Jesse and Scarlett to confront their secrets and their feelings for each other. But as love blooms, the curse rears its ugly head. It seems like it's a coming-of-age story between two characters, so they both have their own things going on, but they're coming together and we might have a little romance going on. The next book is called Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power, and it says she is the author of Wilder Girls, which I've heard about before. So when I saw that, I'm like, I'm definitely gonna pick this up because I've heard people talk about Wilder Girls and I've seen the cover before. I just don't know if people liked it or not. I think people compared it to Lord of the Flies or something like that. Also, this cover is so beautiful. It has a Walmart sticker on it. So that, I think that kind of confirms my theory of that, you know, Dollar Tree books are just like overstock books. Ever since Margot was born, it's been just her and her mother. No answers to any of Margot's questions about what came before. No history to hold on to, no relatives to speak of, just the two of them stuck in their rundown apartment, struggling to get along. But that's not enough for Margot. She wants family. She wants a past. And she just found the key she needs to get it. A photograph pointing her to a town called Faylene, pointing her home. Only when Margot gets there, it's not what she bargained for. The only thing Margot knows for sure is that there's poison in their family tree, and their roots are dug so deeply into Faylene that now she's here, she might never escape. This definitely sounds very interesting. The last book I got was Sparrow by Mary Cecilia Jackson. It says, I'm not the kind of girl who tells. So this one I think is a little more sad. Though Savannah Rose, Sparrow to her friends and family, is a gifted ballerina, her real talent is keeping secrets. Schooled in science by her long-dead mother, Sparrow has always believed that her lifelong creed will make her just like everyone else. But in the aftermath of a brutal assault by her seemingly perfect boyfriend Tristan, Sparrow must finally find the courage to confront the ghosts of her past or lose herself forever. Sparrow tackles timely issues of consent, domestic violence, and the power of speaking up. So this one is a lot more, definitely has some different topics, heavier topics that they're going to discuss, but I really do think it's going to be interesting. I think this cover is very beautiful as well. It's her as a ballerina. Oh my gosh, so we have a lot of books to choose from. Can you believe I got all these books for like $6? 5 books for $6 because everything's $1.25 now. Now I have to choose which book I'm going to get into. I was really intrigued by Sisters of Shadow and Light. This one seemed like the most intriguing. I don't know if I should start with the graphic novel first so I could finish it and feel like accomplished for this video. I think I want to get into this book first because I'm really intrigued with it being a graphic novel, and the plot summary was really interesting to me, and I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to start reading this now and I'll let you know what I think about it in a little bit. Alright, it's a little bit later in the day. I took a break to crochet a little bit and watch some YouTube, and I'm going to get back to my book. I'm on page 34, and it's actually really good. So we find out the girl named Foster, she has a gift of like controlling, like making tornadoes or something, and so does the guy. I just want to say though, like the drawings in the book that represent the characters are like completely different like than the front. Like what they look like in the book looks so much different than the cover, but it is getting good. So I'm going to continue reading.
Begging you to stay. And if I could show you, I'd hope that you could see.
It's been 45 minutes later and I finished the book. I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, there were some parts that were kind of confusing because it there was like no transition to like different scenes and it was a little confusing. There were also a lot of characters, so I was kind of confused sometimes because it would like switch like point of views or like settings because there are like characters in different states. But basically there's a bunch of other people who have powers as well that are trying to find Tate and Foster so that like the scientist could like work on them, I guess, or experiment on them. There was a concept in here that was a little cringy, and it was the fact that like when Tate and Foster sing together, they're able to stop a tornado. What? And I was like, okay, interesting. I already like went on Goodreads right after I finished it to like put it in that I like read it. I gave it a 3-star rating, and when I went on Goodreads it had like a 2.3 star rating, and I was like, what? People were mostly complaining about the choppiness of the story and the art style and exactly what I said earlier about the front like not matching the characters inside the story. Then I realized The Disasters is actually a chapter book series. So this is the graphic novel version of like the actual book. And people are giving it low ratings because they had read, I'm guessing they had read the original book and then they read this and they didn't like the rendition they had done for the graphic novel, which makes sense. Now it's time to choose what book I'm going to be reading next. I think I'm going to give this a chance. Updates to follow. If not, I'm going to pick up Only a Breath Apart if I'm not feeling this.
There could be a place for you and me. And under the stars, you pack up your car, 'cause you're going far away from here.
So I read a little bit more this morning. I'm at 100 pages in the book and I'm actually really enjoying it so far. I was a little confused with the concept in the beginning, but now I'm starting to grasp it. Our main female main character, Zara, it's Z-U-H-R-A, Zara, I don't know, and her sister Anara, and they live in a closed off citadel of the Paladin. And the Paladin people had like special powers way back then, and apparently like there's none of them left. But we find out that Zara and Anara's father was a Paladin, and the day that Anara was born, the father had left. And a big hedge grew around where they live, so they can't get out and no one could come in. So we find out that Anara has like a special power, like her eyes glow blue, and she basically can tend to and make plants grow, and she's always in a state of like she doesn't really know what's ever going on, so like she's not really able to talk to her mom or Zara or anyone. And we find out that she's only like in a lucid state right after she uses her power on the plants. One day someone shows up and Zara and Anara are scared. His name is Halvor, and of course they're confused because they're like, how did you get through the hedge? And he's like, I just walked through. So we're like, what's going on? He's going to try to help Zara like learn more about Anara and trying to get her like in a normal state of mind. I'll check back in a bit. I have some updates for y'all. I am 219 pages in and I am loving this book. The story is getting really good because, I don't want to spoil, but in the beginning we were getting just Zara's point of view, but now like this part 2 of the book, because it's split in different parts, we are getting another character's point of view, and I'm really liking it because we're getting 2 different sides. It's honestly like kind of like 2 different plots, like the plot kind of like split between the 2 characters, and it's getting really good. We're learning a lot more, so I'm gonna keep reading. Guys, I just finished the book and oh my god, it was so good. I am shocked. I can't even explain how surprised I was at how great this story was. I feel like I had just read Fourth Wing last month, and I feel like there were like similarities in terms of like the fantasy world, but I also haven't read a lot of fantasy, but there were some elements that did remind me of Fourth Wing in the best way possible. There's like writers in this universe, whatever, but they ride Gryphons. This story took like a full 180 in like a good way. I feel like I loved it even more because I knew nothing about it going into it, and I didn't know what other people thought about this book going into it. And I feel like that really enhanced like my reading experience. Also, there was like a hint of romance like in like the last 50% of the book, and when that came in, like the story just got so much better. Like if there was no romance, I could have like done without it, I feel. But like once that little hint was introduced, I was like, oh my god, so invested. And one of the guys' names is Raiden, which rhymes with Zayden, which is so funny to me. Highly recommend you read this. So now is the moment of truth. I'm gonna put this book on my Goodreads and put in the dates that I read it, and I'm gonna look up what its average star review is, and I'm kind of nervous. Oh my god, there's a second one. It's called Warriors of Wing and Flame. Okay, it has a 3.78 rating, star rating, and 1,291 ratings. So it's not like a good amount of people have read it. I'm so happy I picked this up at the dollar store. Like, I would have never thought I would find a book that I would love so much there, and I'm so glad I gave it a chance. I'm so glad I went in blind, and I can't emphasize how much you need to check out this book. I'm gonna give this 4.25 stars. So now it's time for me to pick the third book I'm going to read. So I think I'm gonna go with the other book I was thinking about before, which was Only a Breath Apart. I am feeling a romance, and this book seems like it has romantic elements to it. I'm going to start Only a Breath Apart, and I want to see if I can get a good chunk of it read today, and I'll let you guys know what I think. So it's a few days later, and I am still reading Only Breath Apart. I just got to page 250, and I have a little over 100 pages left, and this story is so sad. There's so much going on with both main characters. So they were best friends growing up, and then freshman year of high school, Jesse, the male main character, stopped talking to Scarlett, and we find out that they both have some traumatic family past with their parents, and they both don't really know about each other's families. So now it's years later, and Jesse's grandmother passed away, and she owns this farming land that Jesse grew up on. We find out that his mom died, and his dad is in jail for killing his mom. So definitely a lot going on right now, especially with Scarlett. We find out that there's some domestic abuse in the household, and it's just a very sad story. But I am hoping that there's going to be a happy ending for everyone. But yeah, I feel really sad right now reading this book, but I'm pushing through it. I have like 100 pages left. So I'm looking to finish the book tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'll update you guys with what I think. So it's actually been a few days, and I actually finished the book this morning. As we move through the story, we kind of see how they have grown to be more independent from their families and making some decisions for their futures. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this book. I woke up, finished the last 50 pages this morning, and wow. Scarlett goes through a lot of things in the book, and I'm happy with how it ended for her. I feel like they both need to grow on their own and learn to like be an adult and living on their own before they like depend on each other. And I think we did get a sense of that towards the end of the book. Talking about a topic as heavy as domestic violence, I feel like we are able to see as an audience like how this could happen in real life, how it could happen to different types of families, how it can happen to kids, and how their point of view affects their mental well-being. It's a beautiful love story between these two. It's kind of like a second chance friendship and then turning into romance, which is really wonderful to see. So after thinking about it for a second, I think I'm gonna give this a 3.75 rating, and we're gonna go look on Goodreads together, and I'm really curious to see what other people think about it. It has a 4.02 rating with 3,900 ratings. So that's like a good amount of people have read this book as well. That's so crazy, because like this book and Sisters of Shadow and Light were both like really good books that I read this week, and I would have never like picked them up ever. I loved going into them blind and not knowing anything about them before reading them, and not having any influence of other people's ratings or reviews, and I really enjoyed this. And I feel like I would love to do this often, like going into books completely blind without looking at reviews, just looking at the plot summary on the book, maybe just looking at the tropes, I don't know, but this was really fun. This feeling I have inside of me is like when I was younger, you would just go to the bookstore, grab a book that looked interesting, and that was it, and you would just read it, and you would not think about what other people thought about the book beforehand. Wow, very interesting. I'm so glad I did this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me read Dollar Tree books for a week. I still have the other books that I didn't read, so I'd love to do a part 2 of this video. Let me know down below if I should do that. Thank you guys for listening to me read and ramble about books, and I'll see you guys next time.